Welcome to another edition of Inside the Hashes exclusive player interviews. Today we are joined by Scott Nelson. I'm your host, Sam Kirk. Scott, it's great to have you on today. How you been?
I've been good. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to doing this.
Yeah, it's great to have you on after you just finished your senior season playing at Wisconsin. How do you feel after everything's kind of wrapped up? You know, you're done finally. Is there any just big major takeaways or thoughts or emotions that kind of ran through your head?
It was tough. That was such a big part of my life, such a long part of my life that I became really accustomed to and really comfortable with. And kind of moving on from that, you're moving on from not the friendships, but seeing those people every day and seeing new people. So it was tough, but it was time, and now I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing what's next.
Yeah, so I kind of started with how you finished there, but we'll kind of go back here. Growing up in Detroit, you know, playing football there, can you describe to me a little bit the football culture and maybe how it toughened you up to, you know, be a physical player in the Big Ten and cold environments, tough fans,
Yeah,
etc.?
yeah. I mean, it was very important in our family. My dad played football, my brother played football, and I was kind of the last one where we all knew I was going to. It was just kind of when I got into it. So I started playing in third grade, but even before then, me and my brother would play football in the backyard, whether it was snow outside or just normal weather in the summer. So we were playing for a while and just kind of trying to enforce those values that my dad thought was important. Really was team first and doing whatever it took. Whatever you could to help your team win, I think was the most important thing. And playing different positions, if that mattered, playing both ways, whatever you could do to help your team win was what you needed to do and kind of your responsibility. So going forward, I mean, high school was the same thing. However I can help my team win, if I have to play out of position, if that's going to help, then that's something you have to do for your team. And you just have to kind of trust that recruiting will happen and it'll come your way, and just kind of trust the process and try and keep the team first, and then the individual success will come and follow that.
Yeah, for sure. When you first got to Wisconsin, what kind of went into that decision to redshirt your first year? And, you know, how did that kind of help you be, you know, maybe a little more advanced with the playbook or just, you know, more comfortable with the environment and the facilities around there when you were given a chance to play in your first season?
Yeah, definitely. So I came in, I was probably like 190, 185, 190, and I hurt my hamstring at the end of summer workouts. So I missed the beginning of camp. I missed like first 2-3 weeks of camp. And that was before you could play 4 games and still redshirt. So they usually made the decision beforehand. It was like, hey, this guy's gonna redshirt. So I was fine with it. I mean, I knew based on what had happened, I wasn't really in a position to play right away. So it just kind of gave me an opportunity to put on weight, to get stronger, and like you said, to learn the playbook, and to just kind of practice for a year and not really have to worry about the stress of getting into a game and executing. It was more just trying to give the best look I can in practice and trying to help the guys who are playing, and then on the flip side, get stronger, get bigger. So I mean, like I said, I came in at 185, 190. By the next spring, I was at like 210. So I put on a ton of weight and kind of felt that out a little bit, and had a great understanding of the playbook going forward after that. And so that helped me tremendously. Just so many of those mental reps after games, going and watching film with Coach Leonard, and getting those reps before I was playing. So then after it was already a routine.
Yeah. Let me go through now that season after where you're given that opportunity, and from that point on, and then your injury the following year. How was that, just going through such a high, just playing when you were first able to, and your first letter year you were able to play, but then dealing with that second year after with the injury?
It was tough. Like you said, playing that first year, you were a young guy out there, just running around, felt like a little kid out there again, and then kind of ready to take that next step, and had high expectations for myself, and other people had high expectations for me, and that being cut short was very challenging, very difficult, and made me do a lot of self-reflecting and to kind of figure out who I was and what I wanted to be. And as a person, as a man, and as a football player, you kind of are faced with a lot of options and a lot of choices on whether you're just going to fold or you're going to double down and keep going. So it truly helped me reflect and look in the mirror on who I am and just how bad I really wanted this and what I was willing to go through.
Yeah, when I'm watching your tape, I'm seeing like quickness to the ball, and it's almost just a flash where you're always around the play. Can you kind of go through that and, you just having a knack for finding the football and maybe not sometimes being expected to make a tackle, but making a great leg tackle behind the backfield, stuff like that, those energetic plays. That's what seems like your game is mostly about, or particularly.
Yeah, it's just, trying to effort to the ball is something that is kind of an expectation, especially a lot of places, but especially at Wisconsin, we shouldn't have to coach that. And that's the standard that we hold ourselves to, and it's not really set by the coaches, it's set by the players. So anytime you can get 11 hats to the ball, it's cliche, but everybody get 11 hats to the ball, all this stuff. And if you can actually see that on film where guys are literally racing to the ball, it creates a contagious feel where it's like you're competing with obviously the other team, but you're competing with each other to make plays, and it's all for the best of the team. So you almost have to assume that the first guy's going to miss and that he's going to get that you're going to have to make the play, or assume you're going to be the first one there and you're going to have to make the play. So it's really about putting pressure on yourself to consistently be there, consistently finish on the ball, whether the play's away from you. Just sprint as long as you can, and then hopefully you get there, or hopefully the guy's down by then. But it's really the standard of everybody gets to the ball no matter what. Like, finish on the ball. Coach Leonard always says, like, good things happen when you're around the ball. So do whatever you can to put yourself in that position.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, in these final 2 seasons where you kind of were finally able to stay healthy and do your thing, you were talking about how you're running around there as a young guy in big moments. What do you think was the main difference between that year and now your last 2 final years being a bit? What differences do you particularly see the most?
Yeah, I was much more in control of not only like my play, but also my emotions and my mental state. I've always felt comfortable in those pressure moments, but I was very calm and able to communicate better later in my career compared to early on. I would panic a little bit early on, and later it was just calm. Like everybody, it's easy to hype yourself up in those big games. It's easy to hype yourself up in those big moments, but you can't get too high to where you lose your technique and you lose what you're supposed to do. So I felt myself having more of a calming presence out there in those situations where it's like, all right, like, calm down, like, just trust yourself. Don't try and do too much, especially to other guys if you're playing with younger guys, or just a little constant reminder to older guys, like, we've been here before. Like, this is nothing special. You don't have to change anything. Like, we're the number 1 defense for a reason. Like, trust that. Don't do too much. Just trust the technique, trust the play call, and go out there. And if the play comes your way, trust yourself enough to make it. And that was the biggest thing. Is for a while I was just kind of like, didn't really realize the moments were so different. Everything was big. Everything was so crazy to me that I was just flying around and almost out of control a lot of the time. So it really kind of toning it down a little bit in certain points helped me to play better in those late moments.
Yeah. So now, are there any players out there that you specifically love to watch that you kind of reside with? With so many safeties now being different sizes, some being twitchier like you with the long arms and less weight, and then others being more powerful. Who do you kind of admire and, watch their tape?
Yeah. I've watched Harrison Smith since he came out of college. I think that's a simple, like a more obvious one. And then one, especially lately, Jesse Bates. He's been really fun to watch. So even the other day in the playoff game, he was making plays all over, and that's kind of how you feel the safety position during a game. Is he's, like you were saying, constantly around the ball, constantly making plays to where, oh, he tipped a pass, like he tipped another one early, didn't he? Like, oh, you made a really nice open field tackle. And it's just that constant repetition where it might not be a huge hit all the time, but constantly being around the ball, constantly making plays on the ball. That's how you kind of get your name called more. And he did an outstanding job. So those are two guys that I love to watch and love their play style for sure.
Yeah, no, those are specifically great names. Now I'll kind of ask you about just something that's probably always been with you, but have you kind of always been looked at as undersized in a way, and have you used that as motivation to just, I mean, maybe not in high school, but once you got to that college level, have you like used that as motivation to get in the gym more, or, you know, just to play out there with some big attitude, even if you don't offer that size?
Yeah, I think just kind of knowing that I'll have to get stronger, get bigger coming out of high school. I was just like a taller, skinnier kid, and just that's kind of what it comes with. Obviously, the game's faster. Everybody's bigger, everybody's stronger, everybody's faster. So just kind of matching that level and understanding that I have to get to that point is something that was kind of understood before I even got there. And the strength coaches did a great job of helping me kind of reach that and push myself every year to get stronger and to, if I can put on weight and play well, then do that, but understand your body in a situation of what helps you. Like, is it better to gain 5 pounds and you're a little slower, or keep it the same weight, you can increase your speed a little more? So it's a balance of knowing your body and knowing your ability and just kind of finding that sweet spot.
So now if you were describing your own game and there's just something that, you know, people like aren't seeing about you that you really take pride in, is there anything that comes to mind, just certain things that don't jump out on the tape, but you're just like, I know this is going to help me in the future?
Yeah, football IQ, definitely. I mean, I've spent 4.5 years around Jim Leonard, who is one of the best football defensive minds in the game. So naturally, I think that's one of my strengths. And then being around him for that time, it's helped me tremendously. And taking my football IQ and football knowledge to the next level, and play recognition, just ability to view formations and where people are based on their offense and use it to my advantage. So hopefully I can continue to grow that and help myself in the future. So that's kind of a behind the scenes thing that a lot of people don't really see all the time.
No, for sure. Very important. Now I'll ask you, just in regards to the spring and, you know, what you're doing now, do you have anything or just with any specific plans training wise for the spring, or just planned ahead that you kind of, you know,
Yeah, I'm down in Tampa right now working out and training for pro day. So just trying to, like you said, get as big and strong and fast as you can for that pro day, and still trying to watch football, watch tape to sharpen your knowledge as much as you can, and be ready if somebody were to call you and ask you questions for an interview, something like that you're always staying on point. So trying to give yourself the best shot you can going forward is pretty much where I'm at now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I bet it's nice to stay away from the cold weather a little bit.
Yeah, it's been about 65, 70 degrees most days. So it's no complaints.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'll wrap this up with one final question, just kind of a bigger, broad-based one. If you have one all-time memory at Wisco, you know, it just can be something off the field, on the field, you can do both. What would that one memory or two memories be?
It's tough to say just one, but when we were this past year, we were 1-3, and pretty much everybody kind of wrote us off and said we were done. We ended up winning 7 straight. That stretch of games where we were just all dependent on each other and super close as a team, where we came together and just came back from that situation. We could have definitely folded and just had one of the worst years we've had in a while, and it still didn't go how we wanted. Like, it didn't end how we wanted, but the fact that when we were down at our lowest, we all came together and just said, all right, like, screw it. We might as well do what we can and go out with a bang. And we didn't go out with as much of a bang as we wanted, but to get from that position of 1-3 to 8-3, it was a super fun ride. And it was that last game at Camp Randall against Nebraska, were super close, back and forth game, and coming out with a victory there. It's kind of one or two memories overall, that 7-game stretch and then that last game were some of the best times for sure that I had in college.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a phenomenal answer. It kind of just shows that even sometimes the tough times are what's going to bring you closer together.
Definitely.
And, you know, it definitely seemed like you guys did that in a year where the Big Ten was phenomenal pretty much all around and very competitive. But Scott, it was a pleasure having you on today. We wish you all the best of luck in the future. But really, thanks for chatting it up with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.